you ever look at your house or your wardrobe and just feel like chucking it all out and starting over? Well, before you do anything rash, in today's glue book project, I have some suggestions of how you can make smaller changes that have a big impact. Let's get started. In this project, I don't have a particular color theme. My theme is just small changes that can make a big impact. And sometimes that is color. Like, for example, in this, you can do things like change out the cushions, put in turquoise ones and white, for example, or take these colors, pick out something from that and change out the cushions, or put a different basket there. You know, those kind of things. They don't really take much imagination, they don't take much effort, but suddenly something is different. I've already cut these out, so I'm going to start by just putting this page down because I love the red. I actually even love it against this yellow sunflower in the background, but that's not going to show when I'm done. So my point with this is to just look around and see where you can make a small change, and sometimes that's just tidying up. So I'm putting this one right here against the fold, and it doesn't quite come to the top here, so it's obviously 11 3/4 inches or something, and I'm not even going to attempt to change that into metric, even though in Canada we do use metric. I'm of a generation that is good at both, just not so good at switching. When you grow up in feet and inches and then have to switch to Celsius and all that kind of stuff, you just learn, you just figure it out. But after a while, you stop thinking so much in one or the other. So there's a lot of things that are measured in meters, like if I buy fabric now, it's meters. But I still could, you know, go to the US and buy in yards and know exactly what I'm getting. So here's my point with this particular pair of photographs. Instead of chucking out your whole bedroom, just change the bedding. You know, you can do that. What I do is I have, see how this is striped on one side and flowered on the other? All you have to do to change it is flip it over. And I have one like that. It's a sort of a tropical print on one side and a turquoise and white stripe on the other. And in the summertime, I use the tropical, and in the winter, I use the stripe. And I have a different one that I change out as well, but you know, that's something that I do just to change and get some variety. I'm putting down the big ones first. So these are the basics. This actually goes very nicely with this layout, so I might pop that in somewhere, as long as I don't have to cover up too much. And this one, I just love this. And the reason I'm choosing this for this theme of just small changes that make a big impact, you can have your picnic with a tarp, or you can use a pretty cloth that, in this case, it looks like it's been block printed. And you can take paper plates, which are fun and there's lots of colors and everything, or you can use something a little bit nicer just to sort of upgrade the experience. I already cut some of the top off this because I didn't think I needed that murky water. So I'm going to use this one, and here's another bed change that you could make, and even little things like a jug of flowers, a pretty cushion, colorful shoes. So if you put your mind to small changes, it's amazing what you can come up with. So I was watching Miss Fisher the other night, and if you've seen that show, you know what fancy clothes she has. And I'm really in favor of fancy clothes. I love clothes, and I like dressing up and dressing well, and that's just part of sort of my signature style. Anyway, she had on pants and a top that was lace. It was sort of green, gold, black lace. And I said to my husband, I want to be able to find tops like that instead of t-shirts from the grocery store, to which he made no comment, being the wise man that he is. Now, speaking of dressing up, you can easily also dress up any little event with something pretty, with lots of color, with fancy glasses. I have some very beautiful crystal that we received for wedding presents. I've got these beautiful glasses, goblets, that I hardly ever use. And I have a set of china that I also received as a wedding present. And I have a set of silverware that was my grandmother's. It's not terribly fancy, but it's nice. And I need to use it more often, because what am I waiting for? And sometimes I get it out. It's like, okay, we're using the china bread and butter plates for breakfast. And those kind of things are just simple little choices that make life more beautiful. And it sort of upgrades everything. Like, I love the idea of just upgrading your life. Hey, that's perfect. Now this is also a good fit, but do I want it there? And here's an interesting one. It's just a jar of cream colored buttons, but it's so pretty. And these are just ones I pulled out and cut out and thought, well, maybe I'll use them, maybe I won't. This one I like in here because of the colors. Okay, let's go with that one. And I think I'll put this up here because there's a bunch of expanse here. And what I like about this is you can sit around reading a book, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or you can wear something nice and comfortable and lovely and sit in a lovely location. Or you can dress up your deck furniture. Just little things like that. Like I bought a cushion in my favorite colors, which is blue and white stripes. Got a cushion and like a seat cushion and a little pillow cushion for this wicker settee I have on my deck. And in the summertime, I love sitting out there and reading. And when it's nice and warm, especially in the afternoon and evening, I'll just take my book out there and sit and read, and it's so lovely. And so I'm working at basically upgrading the experiences in my day-to-day life. And it doesn't require a lot, doesn't require a lot of money. Sometimes it just requires thinking about things a little bit differently. See, this is a beautiful little folding table. Yeah, I love that kind of thing. Okay, let's see what else I've got in my little pile of goodies here. Cushions with gold on them. Another one with little colorful cushions. This is pretty. Now, this is something that, I mean, very few of us would have in North America in particular, but there are people in Europe that follow my channel. And look at this pretty little sink. And then there's the French Provençal soap, the blocks of soap. You think, well, I can't do that, which is probably true, I get that. But you could put your towels rolled up in a basket, and you could get a basket of lavender and put it in a corner or on a counter, and pretty bottles for things. So when you see a picture like this, you could take something from there and go, okay, how can I adapt this to me? You could put your soaps in a bowl on the counter. You could get towels that match the whole color theme, whatever that is. I mean, you probably do that anyway, but there's just different things that you can take out of something like this if you just look at it with that in mind. I think I might put this one here because it goes with this concept. I actually have a milk pail like that I bought in Holland years ago, many years ago. And I use it as a cookie jar. Well, I did when I actually baked cookies. But after my youngest daughter left home, that kind of stopped. I said, I don't need to be eating cookies because they're actually one of my favorite things. I love cookies. I like cookies way more than cake because it's less of a commitment. That container, that little milk pail is still in my kitchen. Not really doing anything at all, but I'm okay with that because I love the look of it.
And that sort of emphasizes what I mean by choosing things for the look. And if you watched my last week's video, also choosing them for the feel, for how they make you feel. Now here's another picnic idea, which I think I might just put right there as well to sort of, you know, kind of follow the theme. But first I'm going to put this down because that wants to be covered up, and I want to use my glue stick and go off the edges. So I'm going to do that. And this orange, although it doesn't actually occur very much in this particular page thing, it does end up here. And this is kind of similar, warm colors. So when I'm putting something like this together, I like to look at the colors and see what works together. So when I think of this, it's like this goes with this. This, like I said, goes with that. And then over here, we've got this kind of bluey green. So this and her colors work with that. And also in here, see? This book and the blues and the greens together. So it makes everything harmonize. Let me see if I can get this down fairly straight. That will do. I'm going to just turn this inside out again. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to put this down here. So one of the things I do to just keep things fresh and change is, like, I'm ready for a new sofa, but a new sofa isn't ready for me apparently, because I'm not seeing one in my near future. And that's okay. When the time comes, it'll be the right time. I'm not worried about that. There. But in the meantime, one thing I do in my living room just to keep things fresh is I'll change out all the little decor pieces that I have around the room. So, for example, on the top of my piano, I'll change out things seasonally. I like this little girl with her coat and pail, but I don't think it goes with this grouping. And some of these others, it's like they work, but they're too big. So with this, let's see, I like it, but it's going to cover up too much. So you know what I'm going to do with this is just cut it in a shape around these napkins. I might be able to use that somehow. And then I'm going to pop this in the corner and then think about it. And you know, you can plan ahead with your glue book projects. You can lay everything out and all that, or you can totally wing it. You can just get out your piles of stuff, or go through a magazine and just pull out a bunch of things and cut them or whatever, and then just let it come together kind of organically. There. Okay, now this leaves a little space up here and a little space here now, and then I've got a couple of spaces here. So, and nothing here is kind of shouting at me that it needs to go there. I like this one with the white shirt because I like white shirts, but again, it doesn't really fit the whole look. So if I'm going to be like matching things, I want it to match either for colors or for theme or something. That's kind of cute. I'm just digging through my box here. And in the bottom, I've got a bunch of odds and ends. Let's see, papers and bigger stuff, and that's cute. I like that. And then there's a lot of these kind of things which I cut out of a calendar. That would probably work. Let's
something. Throw that out as well, and that as well, and that strip might work. Okay, let's try those. I think that works. I like that, but I hate to cut that little bird off the top, but maybe I will anyway. It says, use what talents you possess. The woods would be very silent if no birds sang there, except those that sang best. Very good point. Okay, I'm going to cut this off, little bird, and I'll just use it somewhere else. I'm not sure where, but first goes down this one. Get the glue on that and make sure I cover up that top of the calendar there. That works. And now this one can go right there. I love that actually. I think I'm doing the right thing. And this is a little bit like cardstock because, it, like I said, it was a calendar. I think it was a calendar, yeah. Or a book. No, it was a book, like a day book or something. And I cut all the pictures out laboriously for hours in the evenings while I was watching TV, and I actually really enjoyed it because it was so peaceful. There, look at that. I think that really works. Now I have this little bird, which I could pop in just about anywhere. I'm going to cut the leaf off because that doesn't really work. I'm going to put it right there. That will work. I hate to waste such a cute little bird. So I'll put it right there in that corner and it will look like it was always there, and that's where it was meant to be. All right, now then, let's see what we need over here, if any of this. That almost works. I want to do something different. I like the square edges that I'm getting here. Let me see if anything here will work. It's too small and too big. That means it wasn't meant to go there. It doesn't work either. That might work. It's a little bit, it doesn't really say much, but I have all these stickers. And some of them are quite large. Okay, let's see if these work. I think that kind of works. Let me see. Yeah, well, why not? Let's see. I feel like it's too big, but maybe I'll just trim a little bit off of it. Trim some here. And trim some here. I don't want to take out too much of this design. There, then I can still see the blues there. Actually, I'm going to use this glue. This is on cardstock, so it's a little bit stiffer. So I thought I would use this glue. And I better go around the hole. So I went to my naturopath this morning, and I'm so glad I did, because to be quite honest, the doctor doesn't do a thing. It's not really any help at all. And we're going to try a couple of different things for my whole sleep cortisol issue. And I felt quite encouraged. So I have to get some more blood tests and then go back to her next week. Now, is there anything in this collection that would be a good fit for this whole concept, or just for fun? I actually like her right there in her pink dress. She's got way too much white around her though, so I'm going to cut this out. Anyway, my naturopath and I are trying some different things. And I mentioned in some of my other videos that I have an issue with cortisol waking me up at nighttime. And you might have too. Someone else who watches my videos mentioned that as well, that she just has the same problem. And you know, when I look back, and this is what I have always thought, and my naturopath, my doctor, said she actually articulated it exactly the way I've thought of it, which is when you go through a long period of high stress or a shocking trauma to your system, your adrenals kind of get into a loop where they just can't figure out what to do. They overdo it, and then they just keep overdoing it. And I was in a period of high stress for several years as one thing after another went haywire. And I have thought for a long time that my adrenal glands are just in the habit of freaking out. And so they've never really stopped, just settled down and stopped, going, oh no, something bad's going to happen. We got to be ready. So that kind of thing takes apparently a great deal of time to resolve and calm your stuff down. And, definitely doing some things like breathing in a certain way to calm your system down, or what they call box breathing, which is breathing into 4 counts, 4 seconds or whatever, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, holding for 4, that kind of thing. I'm not going to cut out this white in her arms because it's just too fiddly. And meditating for even 10 minutes a day, and doing yoga and things like that. I'm not really a fan of yoga. I find it quite boring and not very effective. So I'm probably not going to go that route. I've tried before and just gone, okay, this is not for me. Anyhow, if I had 3 months on a beach somewhere, I think that would probably do the trick. But I don't, and I don't have any beach to go to that I can just afford to take the time off. At least not at the moment. Maybe I just haven't asked for it. Corner wants to pop up. I don't want it to. Okay, now we're coming down to the little bits. This one, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it actually fits in this corner, so I think I'm going to use it anyway. And the colors kind of work, so this is one that's hard to get off, but I didn't have any problem this time. Okay, there's one other thing here. I made these last week. I'm not sure they go, but they're so cute. These colors work. They're succulents, and I purchased the artwork, and I made this thing for an event at the church, and I cut it with my Cricut machine. I'll put the link below for these. My Cricut machine needs to be calibrated, but I was in too much of a hurry to do it, so I didn't. So it's cut a little bit off center. Usually it's fantastic, but I've been moving everything in my office around, and everything is just a mess. So, however, we did get some painting done, and it looks fantastic. My husband did a wonderful job, and he's gone to get another can of paint today to finish the room because it took more than we expected. Anyway, I think that just looks really pretty there, and there were 24, I think 24 or something designs, and beautiful watercolors by some artists. So I'll put a link below and you can go have a look at it yourself. And then I printed them, I rearranged them and sized them and everything, put them on a sheet of paper like that using Affinity, which is a program I use instead of Photoshop. My Photoshop got too old and I decided not to do the subscription thing. Anyway, I got Affinity and it works just as well. So I put them all on a sheet, 20 to a sheet, and they came out this size, and they're beautiful. And I used them for an event at church. And so you can get that link below the video. Anyway, here's my suggestions for the day for just adding little things to your life that can make a big impact, like fresh flowers, a little arrangement of seashells, beautiful glasses, a bowl with glass balls in it, macarons, which are, you know, need no explanation, nice picnic things, and wear a hat, and honey, and mugs, and a pretty dress, and a lovely spot to read. And then color, change out your bedding, whatever. There's just so many choices and so many fun things you can do. And they don't require a whole lot. It just requires a little bit of thought. It's like, what if I used this instead of this? What if I put that there instead of that? What if I made just a little bit of effort, which means standing in one place and thinking about it for 2 or 3 minutes? And we can all do that. So please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you come along with me. Click the little bell so you get the notifications, and also click the thumbs up because that helps my channel. And I'd love it if you'd leave a comment. It just means the world to me. And I'll see you next time.